What is your favorite music era of all time?
Oh, early 2000s pop punk.
Do you have a favorite pop punk band?
Probably like Blink or Sum 41 or I think it was just in that like Simple Plan, like was it No Pads No Helmets Just Balls, like album came out. I was like, and that was all around the same time as like Now One, you know, like the Now CDs.
Yes.
Now One, and that had like Hanson's Bop on it, and that had Flagpole Sitta on it, which was awesome.
Harvey Danger.
Yeah.
I forgot that there was even, now that you say it, that there had to have been a one.
Yeah.
Like, we're at so many now, my brain didn't even register. That
It's in the like 70s, I think,
Yeah.
now, or some crazy. But yeah, Now One. And yeah, that was all like, I think I was like elementary school, like a little kid, and I was skateboarding and like surfing. And
Do you still skate?
nah, my bones are hard now, and
Shit hurts.
Yeah. And if I like broke something, like, and now we're just too far away from the beach to like go surfing and stuff, so I haven't surfed in forever, and now I'm just a studio rat.
Longboard or shortboard?
Well, my high school had a surf team, and so there were like, my surfboard was, I think, like a 6'2" or something like that. It was a shorter board, but all my uncles were like lifeguards, and they grew up in like Playa del Rey, and they were all just like longboarding like hippies.
I may know them.
Yeah.
They're probably my age.
Yeah. No, they're pretty up there.
What's their names? Did I date them? Like,
They invented the Churchill swim fin, the blue and yellow like boogie boarding fins.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like my uncles and grandfather's like company, and they sold it in the 80s to Maury Boogie.
Sweet.
Random fact.
Good for that. Fun fact.
Fun fact.
Do you have a favorite movie quote?
Not any that are gonna make me not seem super nerdy.
Oh my god. Do the nerdy ones.
I don't know. I've always been a fan of Yoda's quotes.
Tell us you must.
Yeah, it's like, there's no try, only do. That was like, but that was just on some, because I was just so little, and my dad raised me on the ethics of good and evil with Star Wars. That's like how he said that is a bad guy. He's like, Darth Vader is evil, and Luke Skywalker is good, and then this is why we say boo to the bad guy.
Okay, apart from musical instruments, do you collect anything?
Oh! No.
Smells?
I guess. Yeah. Like essential oils and smells for sure.
Not on your person smells, but like smells around.
Yes,
Yeah.
no, for real. No, there's bottles everywhere. I apparently dogs. We have 3 dogs now. I guess if you count like touring laminates, like I have like a bin where like every time I get home from tour, I put the laminates in, and they're kind of just like stacking up over time. Microphones. I guess that's still musical though. There's like a ton of
It's
microphones.
not musical.
Yeah, I guess.
You use it for music.
You use it for music.
But it is not music.
Yeah. Guitar picks, I guess. A lot of bands come in and they have like their custom guitar picks, and they always leave them. So this is Paul Mark from Silverstein, and I had like there's a bunch of people's picks in there.
Okay, so that's cool.
Yeah, that's fun. Oh, yeah. Have you seen the Pinecone thing?
I haven't seen it, but like I had to do a deep dive
Oh,
into things.
That's a deep dive.
Yeah, which I always feel whenever I have to do like research, the woman in me is like, is this research or is this stalking?
It's a fine line, but it's fair. Totally fair.
I need to know how you got there, how this happened, and were you drunk, high, or just
Oh,
stupid?
nice.
Like, I want to know where it started. Like, how that, you sit there, you're like, pinecone, man. I just want to fucking play a pinecone.
Yeah, I can tell you exactly how it went down.
Were you drunk?
No.
Okay, this was sober.
Yeah, this was sober. It was like it was producing a band, and I wanted a gyro sound. So it's like those things that are like, it's like a wooden block that's like kind of like got like little rivets in it, and then you slide a stick across. It goes.
I played that in 5th grade.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we were all in those little instrument boxes in school. So I wanted one of those. Didn't have one. Have one now. And I had, but it was Christmas-y time, I think, and I think we had like scented pine cones like all over the house. So I just said that kind of like looks like it would make that kind of noise. So I think I took like a drumstick or something, and then like just this big fucking pine cone, and was just made that kind of noise over it, and then I recorded it, and then I was like the weirdest.
That's what's gonna make you the cool uncle.
Yeah.
You guys will be like, just pick up things and start playing with them.
You could use a pine cone.
Look what you can do.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Might have been high though.
Sweet. I should.
I might have been high.
Is there any band that you wish you were in?
That I wish I was in?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know. Any, like, heavy bands, like, it's so funny, I make this joke all the time, like, because a lot of times when I write for bands and write with them, I'll just, like, write the guitar parts and play them all, but I don't play guitar in my own band. I do, but, like, on the records and live, I think I play guitar for, like, 1 or 2 songs. But I'm just really envious of, like, guitar players that get to play, like, just fun riffs, like, easy fun riffs. Like, every time I hear a song that has this like super groovy fun riff or super heavy part, I always like get jealous of the guitar players because that's like their job is to like play just like this fun thing live. So it'd be like anything heavy like that. Like I think it'd be so much fun to be in Beartooth, just because like that's just like the riff band and that's just like the most fun. The most fun to me is like playing riffs. Like there's a lot of like Pantera vibes and like I think Slayer for sure. Yeah, just, like, no rules riffs. And not riffs that are, like, not heavy parts that are just, like, you know, your typical hardcore band or metalcore band, like, riffs. It's, like, you know, scales go out the window and it's just all about feel and they get, like, heavy and nasty with, like, you know, a closed hi-hat beat and, or something that makes it, like, I don't know, super unique and different. So, yeah, I would agree. I think so.
Have you seen them live?
Yeah, we just did Shiprocked with them.
I was gonna say, who did you get to see on Shiprock? Because
yeah,
even though Shiprock is you have a bunch of bands, but it's still in a small confined space.
Yeah,
and I could smell it from here. But Beartooth is one of those where I'm like, I don't know if they're like people could handle in that small of a space. And then you put them on a ship. Is anyone jumping over? Is anyone falling? I have questions.
There's hard like no moshing rules. So
where are they gonna kick you?
Yeah, I don't know. Put you in Shiprock jail?
Yeah, time out.
But like, yeah, it was like they kicked it off, and they were the first set as we were like leaving port in Miami, and that was the only band I watched the entire time because I just didn't do well on that trip. Like my wife and I just kind of stayed in the room because that was my first cruise ever, and I don't like the idea of cruises, and am just not about it. And then all this shit kind of happened, and then it kind of just like was awful. And so I didn't watch any bands. I watched Beartooth, and I was like,
and I'm out.
I'm out.
Could you imagine if you got put in Shiprock jail, that they put you in a little room and then they played the worst band you could think of, and they just made you listen to or watch the videos of that band the entire time?
Yeah, that would suck. They had like, it was funny, like all the speakers throughout the whole thing were like just playing metalcore rock radio music the whole time. So and then there was like the bands that played. So there's never like a break from heavy music, especially being on a somewhat stressful environment.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like
they should hand out Lexapro to everybody.
They should have brought some or figured something out.
You need a Valium candy necklace to get through that.
Just Valium, I like that.
Just giving ideas to make a candy necklace.
Salt my margaritas with fucking Vicodin.
I'd like a vodka on the rocks and my rocks to be pills, please.
Yeah.
What is the worst fashion choice you've ever made?
Oh, dyeing my hair blue.
Is it because of the shade of blue that it was?
Kind of. It was like my hair was the longest it had ever been. I think it was like down to here. It was like super long. I think I must have been 25, which is weird. I kind of started the whole music game like a little late, but yeah, like it was like I had super long hair, as long as it ever been, and I had this cool freaking like Cobain grungy thing going, and then one day I decided that I needed to have some loud colored hair to make my band get bigger or something. So I like went and I dyed it like just like bright blue. My wife, we were just dating at the time. It was like our first fight. It was gnarly.
Because she loved it so much.
Yeah, she loved it so much. Oh my god, and we talk about it all the time. How awful it was. It was just one of those where I said, "Hey, I did this," and I didn't think of it as just because it's my hair. Like I'll just cut it. I don't care, you know. Yeah, I think also in high school, you know, I tried to. It was funny because like we have this song called Nice Now, and it's like there's the pre-chorus is like I'm the last sane kid left in like the pre-chorus, which is like literally what happened. So like I graduated high school 2009, and while there still were and still are like scene kids, like not in my high school. Like 2009 came around, and like it was like it was not cool to be like it had already come and gone. Like the local shows, the hardcore shows, like stopped happening. You'd go to one, there'd be like 15 people there. Like the whole like era was like dead by like 2009, and so I would pull up to school in 2009. All my friends were older because I was in bands and they all graduated. So I would like cut class and go jam with them like down the street because it was like a small town. But like, yeah, I walked into school. I remember like the first day like getting my like whatever schedule and syllabus. And I had like the studded belt hanging around my ass. And I had like the super tight like girl jeans that I bought. And like was just the most scene looking kid. And like I swear to God, I was the only one in the whole school. And everyone's just like, what's wrong with your belt, dude? And I think, I don't know, I was like, I felt like I finally found where I fit in. I'm like a musician, and I like scene music, and I love going to shows and stuff. And then, yeah, you pull up to school, and then there's just no one else that likes that shit.
So you guys, we're not the same?
Yeah, no, it was very like, yeah, it was a very weird town. Everybody just like loved a certain type of music. And
what type of music did El Segundo like?
I mean, good music. Mm-hmm. It's just like you kind of like had to love everything. Like, it was just like you had to know like hip hop. It was just funny because it was like, yeah, it was like a very like, it's a beach city. We like loved our Sublime and stuff and everything, but it was just funny. It was like the first couple years of high school. It was like everyone like starting bands, and it was just like this thing. It was just like overnight. It just kind of like all came to a halt. But yeah, I don't know. It was just like Wheezy and like, you know, which I love. Like, you know, that was like the era of like Carter 3 and stuff, and it was like the really, it was that and freaking Rick Ross and like
Rick Ross.
Yeah. But not that I didn't like that music. It was just kind of like I love hip hop. Like I really love hip hop, but it was just not at that time, you know.
The scene was over.
I was in my deathcore scene, you know, in my era. I wanted to mosh. And no one else wanted to mosh with
We're gonna mosh at recess? What the fuck, man?
Yeah, that's what it felt like.
Has anyone or anything ruined a song for you?
Oh my god. Yes. And it's unpopular opinion, but if I hear Mr. Brightside one more time in my life, I might end it. I think. Do
you know that it's been in the top 100 in the UK since it came out?
I believe it. It's a great song. It's just one of those things where it's like, how many emo nights do I have to go to to like hate a freaking song? And it's that song for me.
It's your generation's Don't Stop Believing.
Yeah. Oh my god, that's upsetting. Yeah. It was on our lists. My wife and I got married in March, and it was on our list, like, do not play this song. Like, we will be asked to play the song. We told the DJ to not play it. And then at some point he played it. And we were all hammered anyway, so we just kind of like,
did you dance to it when it was like,
I think so. It was a crazy night, but I think so. I remember it coming on. I remember like seeing Sarah across the dance floor, and she was just like, I don't know. That's like the one fucking song I didn't want to hear.
Do you think someone paid him off to like pay to have them?
I think it was like a joke between like all of our friends that like I had specifically requested to not hear that song, and I think someone like
that would be something I would do. Be like, he totally hates this song.
Yeah, play it. Yeah.
You gross, taste it.
I still had a good time. No, yeah. I think just like I just don't like the repetition of or like the hype or something like that. I don't know. It's like a dash of hipster in me. I guess if it's like so popular, I kind of tend to hate it.
Best piece of advice you ever received?
Ooh, that's interesting. I haven't thought of that in a long time. I've gotten a lot of good advice.
What's the best advice you've gotten?
Dude, I think I was... It's funny because when I think about it, I don't really normally think about this, but when I put it in that context, I guess it's this one. I was producing this artist at another producer studio I was working for out in Calabasas, and I was working there for just over a year. But this one kid came in, and it was one of those things where I wasn't working like with the producer at the time. Like he was gone, so it was just us two, me and this other dude who's like a pretty big like pop singer, and it was kind of like secondhand advice, I guess. It was just kind of one of those lessons of like, why do you talk so much? Like, no one fucking cares, you know? It was like one of those, and it was like, to me, because I was, look, whatever, I might be now, what I used to be, or whatever, it wasn't so much about talking, it was about like overthinking, or people pleasing, or being afraid of what people like thought of me and stuff, while like talking way too much, and so it was just like this really cool, it wasn't even like advice, it was much like a conversation.
Statement.
He was talking about how he was like that, and he had like a mentor at the time. I don't know if it was music or businessy or whatever, but he said he was just like talking one day, like in the dude's car. I can pick him up to go somewhere, and the guy just like stopped the car and was just like, "Can I ask you a question? Like, why do you fucking talk so much?" And they like got into this whole discussion about like how no one really actually, no one cares, like, and to really just kind of like focus on yourself and like and do whatever you want. And there's just like, it was really nice. I don't know, it was a really like revolutionizing conversation for me, because it kind of like was like relieving, kind of gave me some freedom a little bit, and kind of it was the start of a long journey of like not people pleasing, and that was so it wasn't like it was just like overnight with that conversation. It was just kind of like it like I dabbled with the idea of like, oh, maybe no one gives a fuck.
So is that always in the back of your mind, like anytime you want to or you're about to people please, or thinking about what someone's thinking of you, that?
Yeah, or anything. I don't know. Like some people I'll have sessions with, and they're like, yeah, some producers will just be like, this is awesome, this is great. Like you're like this is gonna be a hit and stuff, and like I just won't say anything, and then I like make the song, and then like I'll give input, and then I have artists a lot of times be like, you like this though, right? I'm like, yeah. Like, okay, you just don't seem very excited. I'm like, well, I am. Like,
which level of excitement would you like me to have today?
Yeah, exactly. Like I it's good. I don't know.
But doesn't it make if you showed excitement more profound?
Yeah, it's protecting your yeses, right, and stuff.
See, this is the part.
Talk to my fiance. It took her a while to get used to my excitement levels.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, you talk about that. I'm like, I'm the exact same way.
Yeah. It's
like
good.
I'm like, yeah, no, I like it, and it's like, really, like, yeah, it's great.
Yeah. You don't seem like you like it. Yeah. I don't know.
Everything of what you're saying right now, because I talk a lot, I was like, I should be listening to this. This is
for me. It's for everyone. Everyone gets freedom. It was so profound. It was like I mean, like I have friends still that like act or talk or like that way, and sometimes it's nice because it's like a little reminder of like a little spark of like life that you see coming through someone else, and you're like, oh, nice. Good for you. But yeah, no, yeah, for sure. But no, I have like friends that are very like loud and outlandish, but they're like they're gems, you know. That's why like I keep them around, because it's like,
gotta keep the gems.
Oh my god, yeah. Like my front of house guy Adam is just like everyone's best friend, social butterfly, loud. Like he doesn't like care about what people think. I think he's the other end of the spectrum where like, yeah, he doesn't care what people think at all. So he is so outgoing and loud and outlandish, and like it's a nice little like whatever like compliment to me. So like I'm just like, you have to come on every tour now and like do all of our sound and stuff. So sometimes it's nice, but it was good advice when I had that combo.
What band do you think is universally loved no matter the genre?
The genre.
No matter the genre.
What band is universally loved? I don't know. Probably like Foo Fighters, or like.
I think Dave's universally loved.
Yeah, we love Dave.
Which is why Foo Fighters is universally loved.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I fuck with Dave. I mean, as I've never met him, but hero of mine for sure.
How could you not? Like.
Yeah, how could you not? Like, I don't know. It's a great question.
I feel like your front of house guy.
Yeah.
And Dave Grohl, like seemingly would probably be the same person.
You know what? That's so accurate. I bet. Yeah. Probably them, or what am I thinking? Like, I guess like the Beatles. Like, you know, if someone's like fuck the Beatles, you're like, okay, like you're just annoying. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, cool. Or,
No one's ever said that before.
Yeah. Or like I don't know. Like as far as like a musicality thing, it's like I always still think that like Boston's like one of the best bands like that ever was.
I mean, I think I have more than a feeling on that one too.
Nice, good one.
Yeah.
And I think I don't know. If someone's like Boston sucks, it's just like that's just like an uneducated response. It's like
You go to Shiprock timeout.
yeah, they would go straight to Shiprock timeout.
If you could do one thing without any repercussions, what would you do?
Oh, insider trading or some shit like that, and just make...
That's one I haven't heard, and I think that's great.
Yeah, like crazy.
Do you know
like,
how rich we would be right now?
Yeah, it'd be like stupid. Like I'm pretty sure that kind of money is like, yeah, like people don't know what to do with it.
I'm okay with not knowing what to do with
And
something.
you know, it's like a victimless crime. Like, I mean, who was the victim? Like Wall Street? Fuck off.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, give me money. Yeah, I don't know.
That's the best one. That's one of the best ones ever.
Is that selfish?
No.
Okay.
Because I guarantee you wouldn't keep all that money for yourself.
No. Yeah, I'd keep a lot of it. But...
I mean, the majority of it. Let's be real.
I'd keep a lot of it, but no, it would it would. Yeah, I don't know.
Mine was die.
Crazy.
Yeah, mine was die.
But isn't dying like a repercussion?
No, because like the feeling of what happens when you die, all of that. Like I wanted to know, okay, if you die, what happens when you die?
You just smoke DMT.
I know. It's because no one would get it for me, but I don't know where to get it.
Just start smoking every plant you find.
So I have. We're gonna go find plants after this.
Yes.
Okay.
Apparently, it's like a really gnarly way that they have to like extract it from. And I don't even know what plants it comes from, but yeah, I've never done it. I'm too scared to. It's one of those things where I'm not gonna peek behind the curtain until like I'm checking out.
I knew a guy who did it.
You did it?
No, I knew a guy who did it.
Oh yeah,
He changed for like 2 weeks.
Oh really?
I was like, I don't like this new you.
For the worse?
Yeah, he just kept talking about the experiences. Like, I think I'm getting.
So he's like, so what did he talk about first? Being vegan or doing that?
Oh, did he go vegan after?
He didn't, but he became a little bit spiritual for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't know about this new you, bro.
Typical human. I'm this now.
Yeah.
I think I'm this now. No, now I know who I am.
I have a friend who did it too much.
See, that's like, I don't know. It dabbles too. It's too like out of our power. Like, you know what I mean? That's like I want to leave something to like the mystery, or like that's like out of my control. Mm-hmm. Like if that's meant for when we go, like I will like let that be a thing. I'm not trying to like actually die and be like, oh, my last DMT trip was better. Like,
that, I mean, that's a fair point. Right there.
Yeah, like what if it sucks?
What if there's so many questions to it, which I think I'd want to experience and then know all the questions, but then like if I knew, how would I be living my life any different, really? Like, would I feel I have to do something different? And I don't need to get down this
maybe
rabbit hole.
For 2 weeks.
Yeah, for 2 weeks. I'm just gonna try to like be spiritual for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the new album because I've prepared for despair.
That one.
Yes. Oh. Go gadget arm. Here we go.
Nice. Yes. Prepare for despair. Brought to you by Point North. Yeah, this one.
This one. I'm gonna put it.
Go cat.
Go gadget arm. That's not how we say things here.
That's a no.
Okay.
Put me back.
Are we? And we're back. So this is your sophomore album. Yeah?
Sophomore album, yeah.
How you feel about it?
I'm elated with it. I think it was like a lot of hard work. It was like definitely the hardest me or anyone in the band's worked on a project ever, and we took it not lightly at all. Like, we know sophomore releases are always like really important, really big. If you look at like, I mean, all of my favorite bands, the sophomore records are like my favorite ones. And so we had like, it took us 2 years from like writing. We like got a cabin like Tahoe and did some songs there, and we wrote some songs here. I think this studio, like, it flooded at some point, like seepage flood, not like the roof leaking, but like came in from the backyard during the heavy rains like 2 years ago, a year and a half ago. And so I wrote some songs like in like the living room, like, you know, like in it just was like a ton of songs, a lot of writing. And then we went and we got my buddy Kyle, who's like a great producer, and he's like right down the street in Van Nuys, to co-produce it with me. And yeah, it was just like every little thing. It just was so detail oriented, and the album was done, and there was going to be like three songs on it that were like already released singles. And as fans of music, we decided as a band, like, we can't do that, like, because it was going to be like 5 or 6 new songs, and then the rest were just going to be singles. And I hate when bands do that, or artists do that. I get it, like oh, all these singles leading up to an album, but that's not what this album was. Like, all the standalone singles were like different genres. It's like kind of like what our band does. We just fucking write whatever we want.
Yeah, I mean, that's the great thing about releasing music now. You can just pop it out.
You just do whatever. So we had all this different style shit, and they just like they were going to be on the album, and they just didn't fit, and they weren't as good, and they weren't as built, and they weren't as like, we didn't find like the album yet sound wise with those songs. So the week before the album was due to be turned in, we were like, we're gonna do 3 more songs or 2 more songs. And so we did like write, produce, record, like mix, master for like 2 or 3 songs like in a week, which is pretty insane because the whole album took like 2 years to do. So I was just, I was like,
did you sleep?
No, and it's always like right before a freaking tour too. I swear it always works out that way. Like it's always like cram time for the album, because you leave for tour right here, and if you miss that window, like the whole release is fucked. Finals are pushed freaking 19 months. Like, labels pissed off, like whatever. So it's always like that. But yeah, I was like in here writing, producing, phone with Kyle. Hey, like, you should try this. Like, try it a little slower. You know, make this riff here, whatever. Okay, tweak, and then here's like the rough. All right, now Sage, our drummer, like, you go to Kyle's, and I have a drum room here, but we were tracking drums at Kyle's because he has like a really big drum room, and it sounds really freaking great. He's like a fantastic engineer. So we had him do drums there, and then I would cut vocals here. I would just put the mic like right here on my desk, and I would just like sing and like, you know. But it was it was flying. It was crazy. But they turned out great, and actually one of the songs that was one of those songs was the title track, "Prepare for Despair," which is cool. It was called "Welcome to Earth," and then Andy, our guitar player, was just like, "Oh, I think you should just call that "Prepare for Despair" because it's about like aliens destroying the world." I was like, "Oh, cool." And then we kind of had this like whole thing made. We thought of the album name first, or it was Andy's idea, "Prepare for Despair," which is like fun. And then my cousin does all of our artwork. So
I was just gonna ask. Yeah,
she's gnarly. So she did like all of our singles and albums before this too, and she conceptualized Drax, who is our like alien guy. So we have like a whole comic book lore, but we don't have like the comic yet. We actually are in the middle of negotiating a deal for our first comic books.
I was gonna say this could be a whole story that you have.
It is. Yeah. Like Drax, the guy, he's like hidden in there above that awning on the right. He's like sitting in a window.
What if I wanted to play Where's Waldo?
Yeah,
Where's Drax?
That's literally what that is. Yeah.
Well, spoiler, ruin it for me.
Spoiler alert. He's there. But no, like, my dogs are in that. Like, my manager's dogs are in it. There's, like, some dudes golfing, fishing. Like, there's, like, an homage to my dad. There's, like, fishing in there. Yeah, there's just, like, we wanted one of those things where people could, like, stare at an album cover and, like, find something new all the time. And it's dope. I think it's fucking iconic. It's really sick. And it, definitely has, like, the Dookie by Green Day, like, inspiration, because Green Day is like a band that we all grew up on too.
I've never heard of that.
Oh yeah. Nice little trio, little punk trio.
Wow, a trio in punk. That's strange.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. Huh. That's Trey cool, my friend.
Damn, pretty cool. I know, I'm bummed I missed all their frickin' small shows.
I could say I never actually saw them in any of their small shows. Have you ever seen someone that you got them before, or maybe a random show where there weren't many people there.
Like before they got big, or
Yeah.
before,
Or like just happened to be a show where maybe it was a snowstorm and people didn't show up.
twice, and both times it was Smash Mouth.
Really?
Yeah, so random. R.I.P. But yeah, like one time I was like literally like at the beach as a kid, and there was like a random fucking stage, maybe 30 people around it, like literally in Manhattan Beach, like on the sand. Don't know who put it on, don't know why it was a show.
What if nobody put it on, he just showed up?
Maybe, but it was like a stage, and I remember just being like, oh fuck, they're playing All Star. I was like, that's Smash Mouth. I was like, the fuck is going on? I was like freaking 10 years old or whatever when Shrek came out. And then the second time my wife and I are in Orlando at Epcot, and like we go around to the back where there's like a sound stage, and I just like hear fucking I was like, that's Smash Mouth again. This keeps happening to me. And so I went, and there's like no one watching, and then I like R.I.P. But the singer, like, he didn't seem very sober.
Really?
So he invited the entire amphitheater on stage to sing All Stars. So my drunk ass like ran out there, and I was like fucking rocking out.
It's like Smash Mouth version of Bro Him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh man. Yeah, that. Exactly. Yeah, that's where we grew up. Like, you know, Hermosa, Manhattan Beach, like so that South Bay like punk scene where like Descendants and Pennywise are from and stuff. Do you remember like a band called Final Fight? Or like Have Heart?
That one.
Yeah, like they're like very like South Bay like hardcore bands, but it was like it was derived from like punk, but it was like. Yeah, like positive core, like hardcore bands. We were in a band like that, and yeah, all those shows were in Pomona and Santa Ana.
Santana.
Yeah.
Santana, my friend.
Yeah.
What was the name of the band that you and Andy were in then?
It's called Lesser.
Okay.
It's still out there. It's actually a funny story. Like I was the drummer, and Andy was like the screamer frontman. So he screams on all the new albums and stuff, and so like he's always had like a cool like. His it's not like a metalcore scream. It's like very like it's just like hardcore. Like he sounds like Final Fight if you ever listen to like that band, which is like one of our favorite albums. Songs that scream at the sun. I think it's called Stare at the Sun.
Staring at the Sun is TV on the radio, right?
I don't know.
Yeah,
could be, but yeah, it's whatever. So yeah, it's called Lesser, and we went up to. It's actually like. Was pretty responsible for like a bunch of like life trajectories because we wrote an album and we went up to the Panda Studios, if you're familiar, in Fremont, California, in the Bay Area, and that producer was Sam Pura, and he did like The Story So Far and like Heavy Heavy Lolo and like 100th and like crazy producer that like, you know, we all like idolized then. And we packed up and went up there and recorded the album, and I treated the whole record. So we were there for like 2 weeks. It was like, let's go make a record. And we were there for like 2 weeks, and I treated the whole thing like I was an intern, not a paying client. So I was like paying to be there, but like I was like, dude, do you need me to do a run to fucking Walmart or something, you know? And I would like buy things, and I would drum tech his drums, and I started building cables, like literally bought myself into the room to like act like I was like working for this dude. And then he actually ended up asking me to come back and like intern for like other albums that he had coming up. So then I went back up there and stayed there for weeks at a time and did some albums with him. And then got me in touch with his manager, and then I came back to LA, and then his manager put me in this studio where I was working like under this dude, and then, you know, then I went to go work for this dude, and then this guy, and then one of the guys that I interned for along the lines was Kyle, the guy that is now like a friend, colleague of mine who helped me on this album. But I used to be, you know, freaking 22 years old, like editing drums for him way back in the day. So. And
that, my friends, is how you make networking work for you.
Crazy, yeah. Just paid to have my foot in the door, I guess. But
I mean,
Lesser did a lot. Yeah, it's funny enough. Do you know the band called Movements?
No.
Ever heard of them? They're a fantastic band, and friends of ours, and they're massive. Like they just sold out the Palladium in LA. Like, you know, big bands.
So I'm late to the party.
You should check them out. You like them. Yeah. Like it's really really good. And Pat, their singer, is like a tattoo artist who's like awesome now. But before they like blew up as a band, they did Lesser's like music videos because like we're all from like the South Bay area. So there was like a video on YouTube. The song was called "So Relieving," and it was like filmed in my garage. And there's like a little like montage of like this guy sitting down on a couch watching a projector screen, but you don't see his face, but it's like Pat's like the singer for Movements. And then it was like the next year they fucking exploded, and now they're just like one of the biggest bands out there.
Sweet.
It's just cool.
Writes down the Movements to interview.
It was dope. So yeah, they were like doing film stuff, and then their drummer Spencer was like a film guy, but now he's like a really renowned drummer and builds drums now, which is cool.
Oh shit.
But yeah, it's crazy. It's all stepping stones.
It's about that time to let you go. So
hop into work.
You have to work now.
I have to work for a living.